everyone. Let's talk about gene regulation in a place where it's really important for all mammals, and that is in embryonic development. So one important set of genes in our development are called homeotic genes. Homeotic genes are an unusual class of genes because when they're mutated, they can cause one part of a body to transform into another body structure. Two examples of these are the bithorax gene complex and the antennapedia gene complex. So in this wild-type Drosophila, as an insect, it has 3 body parts, 6 legs, 2 wings, and a pair of antennae. When this bithorax complex is mutated, it goes from having 1 pair of wings to having 2 pair of wings. When the antennapedia gene complex is mutated, we have something even more bizarre. It still has 3 body sets, still has 2 wings, but it no longer has 6 legs. Instead of having antennae here, it has an extra set of legs. Of these homeotic genes, they all are pretty similar in sequence. They have about 180 base pair sequence at their 3' end called a homeobox, which codes for the homeodomain. And these homeotic genes, we see them duplicated and slight changes in them, allowing for the diversity of a lot of different types of species over the course of our Earth. Homeotic genes are going to code for transcription factors. And these are regulatory transcription factors that are able to activate or inhibit other developmentally important genes. So our homeotic genes are not the genes that are creating antennas. They're not the genes that are creating the wings. They are the genes that are controlling the expression of these other genes. So by controlling homeotic genes, you are going to be controlling when the genes to make your anterior, posterior, and when the genes to make your wings are turned on. You're controlling all of your developmental genes. So each homeotic transcription factor can influence the expression of dozens or even hundreds of genes, because it is not controlling the development itself. It is controlling the other genes that control the development. Here you can see the organization of different Hox genes in this Drosophila and in this mouse, and there's pretty similar from anterior to posterior. There's pretty similar patterns of expression of these genes to allow this mouse to develop into its different body parts, to allow the Drosophila to develop into its different body parts. As a result of this coordinated gene regulation by homeotic genes, you're going to establish fundamental body characteristics. It's going to control what is anterior and what is posterior. It's going to control where do your limbs go, what locations are different parts of your body found. We see similar genes not only in Drosophila and in the mouse, but in a variety of animals. And their organization is pretty similar from one organism to the next. In flies and invertebrates, the 3' to 5' location of these genes will correspond to the anterior, which means your head end, and the posterior, which is your tail end, to those positions along your body axis. And actually, their development can control the next section so that you have this coordinated development of structures along your anterior to posterior axis. And mutating some of these, such as mutating the HOXD13 locus, can result in body parts not functioning correctly. So this mutation will result in a disease called synpolydactyly, which means that fingers will be fused together and duplicated. Okay, all we have left to talk about is control of mRNA and translation of proteins. So I'll see you back for our last video. Bye.